Great. I'm getting the check marks that we are live on both of our platforms. So let me just double check that I'm seeing it all fine on my other device for us to kick off for the day. All right, well, I'm starting to see the notification and people are beginning to tune in. So I'll do my basic housekeeping right now so we can capture additional folks before we really get started with our broadcast. Good morning and happy Monday to you all. The final week to the month of April. Not quite sure when it all passed by, but it has. And we have survived another month, hopefully in a positive way and an impactful way on your end. Well, welcome to our broadcast, whether you're tuned into them on Facebook or YouTube channel. These are both streamed in real time. Of course, you can always rewind, rewatch, and replay these. So if you are replaying this, as I've recently had a lot of conversations about folks capturing this later on, still thank you so much for tuning in with us, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or evening. We always enjoy that level of engagement. And a great way for us to capture any comments or additional questions that you have when we're no longer live is by giving us a hashtag replay in the comment section. That allows us to pick up your specific comment and see it later on. Now, if you are tuned in with us, then I'd like for you to hit the share button on this video so others in your network can also see that we're live, can join us, and maybe gain some great information and be able to get some questions that they may have answered. Of course, along the way, we'll take up any questions if you feed it to us through the comment section, which leads me to basically highlight the ways that you can engage with us. One is by reacting to this video, which we always love. Even if it is the angry emoji, we still appreciate some sort of engagement from your end. The other way is by providing us a quick comment in the chat. And I'll pull up a few of the comments that we already have. You can see our very first one from our Mayor Pro Tem Vermont, giving a quick good morning message to all of Westminster. Thank you for being on here with us, Mayor Pro Tem. We also have Eric Gardner giving us a quick good morning message as well. He's looking forward to the updates. And I will just give a quick shout out. If you guys don't know, Eric is with Church Ranch Event Center, and they recently had a nice award that they received for a lot of the work that they're doing. So you can check that out on their pages here on Facebook and maybe reach out to Eric and congratulate him on that effort as well. So congrats to you, Eric, on that. We have our current board chairman, Barker Brown, who's giving a quick good morning message to the mayor and myself. So hopefully you have a profile post or picture that you're proud of, because it will display with your name when we pull up your comment up here. And this is the way that we will pull up any comments or questions that you might have. If you do have a question or a thought that you want to privately share with us and not necessarily get it answered in the public eye, feel free to always DM the page. That is our way also of being able to get your answer or your issue resolved and be able to address anything for you privately later on. Now, our Monday broadcasts are to update you on what's going on in our city halls, quick updates generally from our mayor, mayor pro tem, or councilors. We rotate it on a monthly basis, so you hear from a different perspective and a different thought leader. And today, of course, we have with us Mayor McNally. Thank you so much for being on here with me and your willingness to continue to do these broadcasts for our community members.
Thank you. I love it.
Well, I know that you've got a lot on your plate, a lot that you've been working on that is in the works and that you want people to be aware of. So I will no longer hoard the conversation and turn it over to you instead to provide us those timely updates.
Well, perfect, because April 15th, or no, it was a couple of weeks ago, though, that Congressman Brittany Pedersen came. She
Mm-hmm.
had been trying to reach out as a new congresswoman for our area, and it worked. So Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Seymour were able to also attend. They weren't able to go on our tour, but we staff and the city manager and I took her over to the downtown area, showed her. She hadn't seen any of it. Rich gave her, before he had to leave, some of the great restaurants to check out and the things to do over there. She was blown away by what she saw and how we were working with that. Then we walked to the underpass that was open to the RTD, and she just might be back to be with us at that ribbon cutting. So she wants to be engaged. Of course, we shared with her when we were all together about our water situation and building a new plant and needing infrastructure and wondering, what's going on at the federal level. Talked to her about that. And then we shared with her about passenger rail, the RTD piece that's looking at the peak to peak. And it will be 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening, but at least it's something, since we don't have Northwest Rail from that Fast Tracks vote. And then at the same time is the passenger rail that is looking at going from Fort Collins to Pueblo. And the governor has asked them to look at the Northwest Corridor to go through that, but that's run through Amtrak. So the good news is both of them are working, and no matter what one or the other one does, it can help the other one. And that's good, because we know with just the RTD piece, BNSF has a hefty price tag for RTD to use those tracks. When you look at Amtrak, they have, by federal law, a right to use those tracks, and NSF knows that, and so it just makes for different conversations. So that's good. That's good for us. And she was excited to learn about everything, always saying anything she can do to help us. I know, I think I was on since we went back to Washington, D.C. in February with the mayors in the northwest corner here that helped build US 36 toll lanes and some other things. Right now, they're looking at the 119 RAISE grant. So explain that to her and how this coalition has worked together for 25 years. And she was blown away, and she wants to be part of that. And then I told her about NADA, because we have that in the Adams County side. So Alma, her assistant, is going to be getting meeting requests for all of those things. So as she can come and then share with the Congresswoman, or if the Congresswoman is available, she'll be coming to some of those meetings. So perfect. And then the last Thursday night it's my favorite event. It's it's the Adams County Mayors and Commissioners dinner for Adams County youth. We recognize several youth at our meeting in March, and then there's a panel, and I'm glad I'm not on it, because I don't know, when you hear the lives of these students and what they've overcome and what they have done, it's more than any one individual should have to take on. But our representative from Westminster, we had one that was able to come that night, and she's from Mountain Range High School. She has taken to art, and her art teacher is the one who nominated her. And I just want to shout out to all the nominators, because if it wasn't for them taking the time, we wouldn't be able to know about these students. But she has 2 pieces that she shared with me, and I shared them on Facebook because they're made out of tape, clear tape. And they're beautiful. I mean, I kept looking, staring at them, going, clear tape. But one of them has already won a gold medal award, and he encouraged her to go and apply for a New York showing. So that had 26 entries, and they selected 800, and she's one of those 800 pieces. So her
Wow.
gold medal piece is going to go there. So fingers crossed, and we're all going to cheer for her and hope that she brings home a medal for that. So just great. Then I was with Asian students a week ago, and they're fighting hate crimes with acts of kindness. I also put this on Facebook just so people could see what they did. Um, they knew what's going on in the country and didn't know what to do, so they decided to attack it with acts of kindness. They everything's with collaboration to get anything done, which is wonderful, and they learned some great lessons. But Gary Lowe, who works with bicycles, heard their stories, so he took 10 kids under his wings and taught them how to take a regular bike and change it to an e-bike. And you can do that for around $200. It was fascinating. I learned a ton. So then after the students had done that, they were going to give the 5 bikes away that they did. They worked in teams of 2. And then it was, well, how do we find the people that we want to give them to? So they taught them to interview, and they had as hard a problem as I would have trying to do any of these students that are great. And they interviewed and had to make their choice for their bike. And so last Sunday, they had a nice meal and presentation for these students, and the students got to meet the person that's getting the bike. And then after all of that was done, we went outside, and the students shared with the person getting the bike how to use it and how to start it and do all of those things. It was fascinating. Nobody crashed. That's the great news. But but the people that it's going to help, from seniors who still have lots of life, but this would just help them do their little errands to it just was all over the place, all ages, everything. The students just have big smiles. I was fortunate to be able to have a communications person with us so they could take pictures, so they could tell the story for these kids. So fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Then last week, the Westminster Archive Center, if you hadn't heard, opened. It's at College Hill Library, and they're making sure all of the city artifacts, all of the maps, and all of the things that have been done over the years that tell our story from the government side of things are going to be archived now. And they have archivist there, and she'll also be working with the Westminster Historical Society, while the city's going to be taking artifacts of the government. She knows we get artifacts from citizens, and when someone passes, we're always getting a call. Well, I have this of mom's that was from, whether it's an iron to whatever it is. Great things. So the Historical Society takes and archives that, puts it on Past Perfect so everybody can see, and also look up these family names and stuff. So great partnerships and great stuff. On Thursday, we had Arbor Tree Planting Day at the Fred Valente Humanitarian Park. They planted several trees. I wanted to go so bad, but didn't think I could. But I was driving past there at 2 minutes after 1 while I was on a conference. I was on a Zoom call, actually, and I knew they were going to be calling roll call. So I just put my phone in my back hip and said, if anybody hears voices coming from my backside here, it's just a Zoom call I'm on. I've got to hurry. We hurried and did dirt. The rest of them, I know Councillor Seymour was there. I probably looked like I was very rude, but I just wanted to be there for the Valentes. So I literally was there and gone and had to go get on a call. So
Well, you made it happen. And that's, it's the world that we're in. I feel like now we can do a lot more than just the in person. We can tap into the virtual. If you don't mind me cutting you off, Mayor, we also have our County Commissioner from Jeffco, Tracy Kraft-Tharp, giving a quick
hi,
good morning
Tracy.
message. much. So thank you so much for joining us, Commissioner. And then Eric just wanted to comment and let you know that it's so great to hear of the work that's being done with our youth. So you've touched on a number of things, from the bikes transitioning to an e-bike, and helping them with the interview process, to the youth awarding, and even the recognition that's being received, hopefully here in New York and coming back by one of our local artists as well. So lots of great work happening. I'll let you continue.
Now, Saturday, that we had a little white stuff along. So a little tough to go out and find the trash underneath the snow. But a lot of people had gone out during the week, which they do, or some were scheduled for yesterday. But over 1,200 people signed up to clean up Westminster. Great, great thing. We went ahead with the barbecue part, which is always wonderful. And we had several tables there that you could go to and learn about things. O'Toole's was one of them. They had cute t-shirts to give away, and a 25% off for if you're needing any plants over there. So that was kind of them. And I'm drawing a blanket on some of the other things that were there, but it was great. And the partnerships were terrific. People enjoyed just sitting there talking. They stayed from 11 till 1. And it was just great. So we can't say enough about that, but we have to remember, if you have, because I heard about different groups. We had one group that went out that collected 15 of those huge bags, and they said they could have done more, but they ran out of time and maybe bags. So it was around one of our high schools. So I said, well, I'll probably see that superintendent, so I can help with if there's any school groups or anything that needs some time for their honor society or something like that. Maybe if we can form some groups to not wait a year to go clean up places, but really active places, especially when the wind blows and there's fences. So I would just hope that if you had a group, anytime you see some stuff as you're walking or going, whatever you're doing, pick it up. It doesn't need to blow to the next neighborhood. So we need to be vigilant about that. But I just can't say enough for that 1,200 people that said yes to doing all that.
Absolutely.
Then this week, now we're into the present. This week we have one of my favorites too, Casa Light of Hope event at noon at the what's our hotel? The Marriott on 104th or 100th over there, 100th, 104th. I don't know where it exactly changes to 100th, but we have that at noon, and that's for one of their fundraisers. Then that night we have Food for Hope Gala Thursday night, and they help food banks within schools. I know one of the churches I work with gives out 160 backpacks or bags a week. They fill them and take them over to a school so that children have food for the weekend. Some of the high schools have started food banks in ways that it's easy for them to go in, put some stuff in their backpack. Nobody needs to advertise anything. Nobody needs to be walking by seeing any of this, because of stigmatism of oh, what's going on there or whatever. People say stupid stuff all the time. So they do it in a safe manner, and they are helping the Westie High School right now put one together. And some of our kids on our youth advisory panel, the Yappers that I work with, were really wanting that. And I happened to meet the person that deals with all that like a week after the Yappers had talked about it. So I got the name to our kids that go to the high school. They connected with her, and now it's already open. So great things there. And those partnerships, the kids are really learning about partnerships, and you get more done. Next week, we have a bus tour of both the groups I told you about, the Northwest Mayors and Commissioners and the NADA group, which is the North Area group from our the Adams County side. And we're going to go on a bus tour because the next main highway that needs some help from state and federal is Highway 7. So we're going to start in, I'm not sure where we're starting because we're sort of starting in the center. So we're going to go to one end and go up to Brighton. So it's good that these two coalitions are finally coming together with a huge project, and each one can make some asks. But if we're working together, as Congresswoman Pedersen said, and Congressman Perlmutter always said, so did Senator Bennett, when you guys come as a coalition of 25 asking for something, instead of each one individually asking for something, it makes their job so much easier because we're like a force coming at them saying, this is what's important and this is what we need. So I'm excited about that because it'll be one of the first times that we're meeting together. So about roads. Then coming up, now we're coming up. We have our first town hall of the year. It's not for a lack of trying to get it sooner, but it will be May 18th from 6:30 to 8. And it will be at Orchard Park Academy. It's one of the new schools in Westminster Public Schools, and it's at 7395 Zuni Street. So it's as always, we'll introduce ourselves, and then the floor is open to the people, the citizens that come. I think they're going to do cards so that people tend to get up and give 5 minutes of why they're asking the question so that we can get through more questions. We get straight to the question with it on a card, and then we will answer as we can. Then June 2nd, my favorite thing is the summer block party. That's going to be down in historic Westminster, 6:30 to 8:30. May 5th is art a la carte. I can't wait to see what this is at College Hill. But 6:30 to 8:30, families, I just have a feeling it's going to be a creative time. I could probably just come and sit in a chair knitting and watch all of that and fit right in, you know? And then May 6th is a big one. Fire Station 5 has its big open house, and we always have hundreds of people come. That's at 10100 Garland Street. We always have the old fire truck, the red fire truck that has benches on it. You can get a ride. We have hamburgers and hot dogs. We have different things that the kids can play. There's usually a course that they go through, dragging the hoses, doing everything that a firefighter does. And then usually there's some education there that you can answer some questions for some little prizes. So fun day. And that is, I didn't write down the times, but usually it's noon to 3. So in that time frame. Maybe Mayor Pro Tem can check those times for me. And Mayor Pro Tem, would you just double check May 5th? No, not May 5th, June 2nd, where that block party is. I didn't write it down for sure, so I don't want to give bad information. May 10th, this is a very special one. You just meet outside, park your car and come over to the front of the police building. It will be raising the flag raising ceremony for Police Officer Memorial Week, and that's always a touching time. Officers on duty come out in full uniform. It's just a special time, and they always appreciate anybody that can stop by. That's at 11:30, like I said, in front of the police department. Well, tonight we have a jam-packed event for tonight. We have, Congressman Perlmutter served 8 terms for our area in Congress, and I feel when people serve like that, they deserve a thank you. So we're doing a proclamation tonight. He's first on the docket. And then next will be National Day of Prayer, Small Business Week, which we might see your little face or somebody's there, and Mental Health Awareness Month. So some fun proclamations. And then on the agenda, we will be voting on the site for the new water plant. that has had some interesting comments this week and some things going on behind the scenes. If you listen to the very end of last week's meeting, which was a study session, one of the things we try not to do to one another is surprise each other. And I did call out one of the counselors for making phone calls to people, asking them to call the rest of us, and had been calling papers, but some of the papers were calling, asking for the rest of the story of why this request was being made. So I
Mm.
appreciate that, but in all of that discussion, Counselor Seymour very calmly and very succinctly shared what was on his heart. It was not mean, it was not angry, but yet you see those things on Facebook and different places. And I just want to say that was not the truth at all. I've never seen him with anger at the dais. He always does things very professionally, and I just want to state that that truth because I was there and I watched it.
Mhm.
But the other thing on the agenda tonight, once we get through that, I think we have at least an hour and a half of phone calls that have come in that we have to listen to, plus whoever comes tonight. So before we get to everything I'm about to tell you about, including that vote, I don't know, we may have 2 to 3 hours worth of testimony first. So after we hear everybody, we'll have the vote on the water treatment plant. That's second or third on the agenda. Then a very special thing. I've been working with the Lao Hmong folks since 2006 when I was here in my past. In 2010, we thought we had an agreement, and then one of their key people passed away. And
Mm.
so now we're getting back to it. They've come to us, and we do have better property that we're going to allow the memorial to be on. And it's going to tell the story of how their military helped our military folks survive in Vietnam, take care of them when they were wounded. The stories I've heard are just unbelievable, and have, because of folks coming here to live and get their citizenship, um, some of them were those people over there that helped, and they were doing it at their peril, not to get caught helping us, or they would be killed. So that's the story this memorial will tell, and it's going to have a full-size plane on display up in the air over by City Park. It will be to the east of Christopher Fields, and there where the parking lots are, there's piece of land right there that I think will be perfect. So when
Mm.
they want to have gatherings amongst themselves or inviting people or whatnot, we'll have plenty of parking on both sides that they can get to this memorial. And it will be not very far from our tribute garden that we have right over there. So that's a very special thing. They will be there tonight, and the absolute never planned, but with Congressman Perlmutter being there tonight, he has money going into this piece that
Mm.
he had said he would give forever ago. And for him getting the proclamation and this happening on the same night is just like, thank you. It's perfect. It'll just be extra special.
Mhm.
Congressman Perlmutter doesn't know about that, so it'll be a surprise to him. And then some great things. The Irving Street Library and Squires Park are going to have their equipment purchases approved tonight. And then for anybody wondering if your street is going to have chip seal or pavement, that's just go to the back of tonight's agenda, and they have every street listed for striping and pavement and chip seals. So all of that's very public, and you can go check. Did I make it in 30 minutes?
Oh my gosh, that was a lot. You are so impressive because my fingers could not keep up. And I will reiterate to everyone that it is worth rewinding and rewatching and pausing and taking in a lot of this information. So much great things that you were able to capture and update us on, Mayor. Thank you so much for that. Eric just chimed in and shared, thank you for all that you're doing. There's a lot on our plates, and I have been emphasizing that it's the right people, the right timing, and we are just all kind of moving forward our community. So thank you so much, Eric, for that, and Mayor for highlighting a number of these things. What I will emphasize as well is the agenda for tonight's meeting. I know our mayor has done a great job in explaining that there will be proclamation for a Perlmutter, some resolutions, day of prayer, mental health, small business week, and others, including some of the hearing items, first and second hearing. The link to the agenda is included for you in the comment section that you can click through and find the details of it. You can still tune in to the meeting from the comfort of your home if you would rather, instead of going in person. Not only can you find it on their YouTube channel, but you can also find it now on Facebook, as they consistently try and reach out to you in a number of different ways. So I've done my part in trying to capture everything, but you are doing a tremendous job of not only taking part in these events and projects, but in communicating that out to our public, because it's so important for them to see what you all are doing on a daily basis, instead of just, taking photos and going for what the backside of that impact is. And I think you've done a great job in capturing that, Mayor. I don't see any comments that have any questions that have come through. I see a quick comment that came off of our YouTube platform, and that was from Dave, sharing that quick thank you for the thorough recap and update that you've provided to us, Mayor. So I know he also enjoyed it as well. If you had questions or comments and we're no longer live, make sure that you give us the hashtag replay and provide us that question. Or if you had a more private question you wanted to DM the page, please do so. I know the mayor does respond very quickly when we've asked her questions or asked her to investigate something for us. So I just want to reiterate and emphasize that. And Mayor, thank you so much for fitting this into your schedule, especially as you're staying busy, knowing the volume of work that you're doing and being in two places at once via your phone in the pocket and tree planting. We appreciate it.
That's the closest I've ever come to just
right, like a bit much, right? But so I know that was still an enjoyable time out there. So thank you. Stay with me as I wrap this out, and thank you to all of you that have tuned in. Make sure that you hit the share button so others in your network see this, and have a beautiful rest of your week.